Woohoo! This Hangout on Air is live. You're on with Abiola, Abrams, and Amanda Elise. Hello, Amanda.
Hello.
And so, Amanda, this is really exciting because tonight, thank you everyone for joining us. We are continuing the exciting conversation that we started last week. And if you missed it, you've got to go back and check that out. We were talking about energetic blocks to abundance. And tonight's conversation is about clearing the clutter in your life to let the abundance in.
Yes.
So, Amanda, I know you have something juicy to share, and then we're going to get into our workshop.
Yes, I do. So I want to thank everybody for joining us last week. We really had a blast, and I want to thank you all for joining us today to learn about clearing life clutter. So these two free online classes that we've shared are a precursor to our course that we're going to have. It's a one-day workshop next week on Wednesday, almost at the exact same time. So you'll be able to join us hopefully. And this is all about breaking up with your old life and welcoming in abundance. So the name of the one-day workshop is the Breakup, Clear Life Clutter, and Welcome in Abundance. Breaking up with your old life and welcoming in abundance. So we really hope you join us. These two classes that we've been doing, we're talking about it, and talking about it is fun. It's always great to get amazing knowledge, but during this workshop, we are actually going to ask you to apply the knowledge. So having the knowledge is great, but we really want to propel you into action because it's time to stop living this life. Go ahead and break up with your old life and welcome in the new. So we hope you join us.
Woohoo! That's going to be so much fun. I'm so looking forward to that I'm sure, Amanda, that you hear, like I hear all the time from my tribe, like, you know, it's one thing to talk about what isn't working, right? And then, you know, we post, you know, inspirational things and people get inspired and we're inspired for the minute and then we don't do anything. I know because I've done that. I did that for years. You know, I've been to like amazing seminars and the speakers like la la la, you know, motivational speakers like me or you get on stage and we're like, yeah. And then we like take home our folder of notes or whatever and we put it there and like we're like, okay.
Right. That becomes clutter too. Yep, exactly.
So that's why we are about taking action. Action, action, action. Break up with your old life and welcome in your new life.
Yes, absolutely. I do love what you said because I did used to live that life too, just watching everything and listening and soaking it all in. But it's always nice when you actually start to move in the direction because you have prana, your life force energy, your God force energy is within you. And once you start to move in the direction of your desires and break up with your old life, your new miraculous, wonderful life can be yours so, so easily. So thank you, Abiola. Can I tell them a little bit about an experience that I had a few years ago?
Yes, please do. Because like you just touched on, you know, that it's about prana and chi, which is life energy and life force. So please go ahead.
Yeah, it's so interesting how different things happen. I actually, a few years ago, and those of you on my list, those of you on my Instagram, you know this because I've been talking about it in these two free classes that we've done. Those of you who are new to me, you don't know, a few years ago, I was working in an office and there was just so much clutter. If you don't know feng shui, it was in the money corner of my office and it was just so much clutter from like the last person that was there. And I was like, I just can't stay in this anymore. And so I cleared it out. And then the very next day, my boss came in and he gave me my first bonus ever, literally ever. And then the very next week, I actually got a promotion and a raise. So after then, I was like, okay, I am a clutter clearing freak. I'm just going to clear out all of the clutter. And it's definitely been working for me. So I hope that we can help some of you live the same life too.
I'm so glad that you shared that because that is a concrete example. You know, someone might figure like, you know, All right, I'm gonna put my sister on blast. She's probably watching. I love you, Damali. But we both come from the same clutter hoarding genes. We both do. So I'm putting you on blast, but I'm putting me on blast too. So we have been, together on this year-long clearing clutter, abundance journey. And the great thing is, with having a sister that you can be like, all right, next week, we're doing a quarterly cleanse. Get all your stuff. We are going and we are giving it to Goodwill or donating it or whatever it is. So she recently came up with like a new theory. Actually, it's an old theory she's had for a while, which is not that she has too much clutter. And again, by putting you on blast and putting myself on blast, I have the same genes, but not that she has too much clutter. She just doesn't have enough room.
Yes.
So she's like, if I just get a bigger apartment, if I get a bigger home, then I can hoard more things because, there's not, the problem isn't having too much stuff. It's just not having enough room for it. And I try to explain to her, I'm like, dude, no, just no, because you can live in a mansion and be a hoarder. You could be, there are celebrity hoarders like Lindsay Lohan and what's her name, who Tori Spelling, and blessings to them, not to put them on blast. They were on TV and I saw it and watched it. And what they do is that they go, like many of you, like I've done, and purchase storage spaces. So just because you don't have, just because you have the room or the finances or the wherewithal to hoard and hold on to your stuff doesn't mean that you should. And so that's why that was such a powerful story, Amanda, that you just shared about your feng shui, and clearing clutter, letting go, and attracting abundance.
Yes,
So
yes. And abundance doesn't necessarily have to be monetary. Do you want to share your story about relationship abundance?
yes, I want to actually, as I go into that, talk about what exactly abundance and clutter are. That you could have abundance in every aspect of your life, and you can have clutter in every aspect of your life. That, you could have mind, body, spirit, clutter, and abundance, and these things kind of work hand in hand. I had a similar situation to Amanda where I cleared up some stuff and attracted some stuff. Actually, it's happened many times in my life, but what I'm going to talk about right now is a relationship related story. That for those of you who have read my book or follow my stuff or are on my my list, know that I was married many years ago. And I still had my, my wedding ring and my engagement ring and all of that when the marriage completed itself. And I, as a part of my teaching, as a part of me being, a coach and a teacher, would talk a lot about my first marriage and the things that went wrong in that relationship and all of those things as a teaching tool. But that was a form of clutter, because while you're holding a space for someone else, that you had previously, whether it's a box of, mementos or cards or pictures of, the trip or whatever. And I'm not saying that you have to be, completely minimalist and not hold on to things. But if you've got like a box of cards and a box of mementos, and here's the bag of, the first roses he ever bought me dried out or whatever, a whole bunch of crazy stuff that I had, then you are not leaving room in your life to attract new things. And the reason why you want to clear clutter for abundance is that nature hates a vacuum. And literally, by you making room in your life for the things and the blessings that are supposed to come to you, those things always do come. It may not be on your clock, but they really, really do. And so a big part of last week's free class was about energetic blocks to abundance. A big energetic block to abundance, huge, is clutter. Like, again, like I said, it could be mind, body, spirit, relationship clutter. And so, finally I made the decision with a web series that I used to host to sell the wedding ring and the engagement ring and donate the money. And so I went to the Diamond District in New York City, and I actually shot it for the web series, but never put this episode out. And I may in the future. But and went and basically, went into, sat in a fancy room with someone and sold the ring. And it was so clearing and so releasing. Although at that point, the relationship had been long over, I was still holding on to these things because I was telling myself, but they're really pretty pieces of jewelry and I really like them. And, we are great liars when we're lying to ourselves.
Yes.
That there are some of us, like me, who couldn't tell a lie to someone else to save their lives and wouldn't want to, but we lie to ourselves very well. Very well. And so I had a good story going with myself. These are really pretty. I'll just hold on to them and blah, blah. But they were taking up room. Literally, I tell you, when I walked out of the Diamond District office and, had sold these rings and was going to donate the money, suddenly I was the most irresistible thing walking in Manhattan. Yes. And the Diamond District in Manhattan, for people who are unfamiliar, it's not like a sexy pickup neighborhood. It's like people going to work, focused, nose to the grindstone, Midtown Manhattan, just trying to get from A to B. But I swear, like young men, old men, suited men, jeans men, whoever, like everybody was suddenly, it was like I had turned my light on by releasing, letting go of this old relationship and this old stuff that was like blocking my blessings, my love blessings, and making space, literally, in my jewelry box for the next wedding ring, but also making space in my heart and in my soul and in my spirit for the kind of love that I deserve. So see, there are all kinds of ways that we clutter our lives. Little things can be clutter too, and block our abundance. So, yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that story. I know there are some people listening that probably needed to hear that for sure. I had one friend actually who, not a wedding ring, but she actually kind of had a few old boyfriends who she was still communicating with secretly in hopes that she'd get back with them. And right after she finally decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and let every single one of them go, she met a man and she was engaged within 1 month. So it works, yes, everybody.
It really, really does. It really does. Even, things like if under your bed, a lot of us, especially I live in New York, we need the space. You have these little, itty bitty apartments. And so under your bed, it's bad feng shui to have like a bunch of stuff, like just blocking your energy under your bed. That all is a different form of clutter. It may be things that you are wearing, things that you are actively using, but your bedroom, like every other area of your life, needs room to flow, room for your blessings to flow. And this is the real deal. This is not just, we are spiritual beings, and blessings are always flowing to us. It is us who choose at times to hold ourselves from, away from the stream of blessings. And one of the ways that we do that and stay stuck, because we are comfortable or we have limiting beliefs, is with clutter. We use our clutter in service to our beliefs of lack, our poverty consciousness, and our beliefs that we are just not enough. Oh, I could go on and on. Go ahead.
No, that's, I think you're absolutely right. And thank you for taking it to the heart of the matter. We are spiritual beings. We are vibrational beings. This is who we are. And I just want to tell you, to give an example for some people who might not really understand exactly, kind of like a real life example of what we're talking about. But when I was in school, you're a college kid, you don't really have a lot of money. I used to shop at places and buy things just because they were on sale. So it could have been like a shirt and I just needed a shirt, and it may not have been that cute, but it was really inexpensive, so I needed it. So I took those shirts with me forever just because it's like, well, it's my shirt. I bought it, I need it. But in the back of my mind, subconsciously, it always reminded me of a time when I didn't have a lot of money and I felt like, well, this is really all that I can afford. So by keeping that energy of this is all I can afford in my closet, I am staying vibrationally connected to that. I'm connected to this is all I can afford. So you can see that you cannot be a vibration of something and then live the opposite. So you can't have things surrounding you that remind you that this is all you can afford and then try to live an abundant life. You can't be two different vibrations at the same time. So if you want to live an abundant life, you have to throw away things that no longer serve, or things that don't have the vibration of where you want to go. Does that make sense, you think, Abiola, to everybody?
So much sense.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like what I call, like, you know, a toleration lifestyle.
Yes.
And one of the things we're going to get deeper into in the course, but, you know, kind of, well, I'm just tolerating this, or I'm just tolerating that. Nothing in your life, you know, there are all times that we have to, you know, feel like, okay, well, I'm going to put up with this to get to that. But you approaching things in your life from a point of view of, oh, I'm just going to have this coat because I'm just tolerating it, or whatever it is really blocking your blessings. Here's the best way to think of it. We are vibrational beings, as Amanda just said. So if you imagine, you know, like, you know, we right now are chatting, you know, over the web. So if there is something blocking this signal, you know, I'm not a scientist, technical person, so I don't know how it all works. But if there's something blocking the signal, then we're not going to be able to connect. It's the same thing with clutter. That clutter literally blocks your blessings because it's in the way mentally of where you need to be. And so a really great way to think about it is that you right now, me, Amanda, every single one of us, everything that you own owns you, because you are having a relationship with every single thing in your environment. And so if there are broken, dirty, old things that you have, things that you are just holding on to, you know, then you are busy communicating, you know, on every level with those things, rather than having a clear mind to be able to attract to you your highest and best good. And it's just really, really beneficial for you on every level, because you can't clear up one part of your life and keep and not advance the others. So whether it's financial abundance that you want, which is what we're focusing on in the course, or, you know, physical abundance, abundance of health and well-being, relationship abundance, or spiritual abundance, you can't say, well, I'm going to be in this negative relationship with this person. There's people clutter, like we said. You can't be in a relationship, a negative relationship with someone, and expect to be happy and healthy and whole in other parts of your life. And I'm actually, Amanda, if you don't mind, I want to, before we go on, just talk a little bit more about people abundance, because this is a big one, people clutter. That, you know, a lot of us have relationships that have outworn their outlive their purpose, you know, whether those are friendships, you know, with family members, it can be a little bit more challenging. But if it is your direct relationship, your partnership that you're in, I get so many women who write into my essence column. And it was the same thing when I had a teen girls column. The teens and the grown women, we're writing in about the same thing. Why can't I let go? Where we have the mentality that any man is better than no man, or woman, or whatever relationship you're in, that it's better to be in a relationship than no relationship. So people settle for things that make them feel less than on a daily basis. Well, that is people clutter, because that is someone literally in your space, in your consciousness, in your life, that is blocking you from allowing the abundance of positivity to come your way. And so with physical clutter, it's easy to see when we watch a show like Hoarders, and the lady has, you know, 25 cats and she hasn't thrown anything away since 1960, whatever. It's easy to see that. But we all have ways in our lives, unless you're a complete minimalist, things that we can let go of, clutter that we can clear. So I hope that that makes sense to you. If it doesn't, our usual Q&A box is not up, but you can ask questions. Ask questions wherever you're watching this, and I will find your question and read it. So Amanda, I'm gonna go and I'm looking for questions. So if you could talk a little bit about family history and clutter, that would be great. Or just how your family saw clutter. Were they more minimalist? Did they throw things out? How did they approach it?
Oh yeah, we pretty much threw things out. So I've always been in the habit of pretty much, like, you know, recycling things all the time, always recycling. So pretty good at that. But, you know, when I went off to college on my own, I did start to gather a little clutter myself, and I definitely saw how it impacted my life. So I do just want to go back to people clutter, if you don't mind, just a little bit. I think that with relationships, I think at the end of the day, like we keep saying, how you do one thing is how you do everything. One part of your life will affect every single other area in your life. So if you are holding on to a relationship, you have to look at why. So if you're holding on to a relationship, but cognitively you know that it's not good for you, you have to look at why, like what fear am I avoiding by holding on to this relationship? Is it because you don't want to be alone? Is it because you feel you don't deserve, not deserve, but feel you can't have someone better or a more fulfilling relationship? So when you stay in these relationships, you're basically telling yourself, I don't deserve what I truly want. And just think about that vibration. I don't deserve what I truly want. And then go around in every area of your life, look at your finances. I don't deserve what I truly want. Look at your family. I don't deserve what I truly want. It spills over in your body, health. It spills over into every area of your life. So Abiola, in your post today, something struck me as amazing. You said, I think something you said, like, if you don't absolutely love it, talking about physical things, if you don't absolutely love it, if it doesn't bring you absolute joy, then it really shouldn't be in your life. Because when you have things around, if you're settling, you are setting yourself up to be the vibration of someone who is settling for a life that's less than what you deserve.
Yes, yes. And Amanda, speaking of that post today, we were talking on Instagram about, it was interesting about, again, we touched on this in the last seminar, but about how you could have something that is really beautiful. You spent lots of money on it, so you feel like you have to hold on to it. And you had that experience with a Chanel bag that you're giving away. And for me, it was a Louis Vuitton bag that I literally never used, that I gave to my cousin recently. It was hanging in my, my closet with my bags, and so it felt exciting because it was hanging there and I liked it, but it was too small and I need to carry a lot of stuff with me. I use tote bags. I don't use like a little small. So it was clutter. Even though it was very expensive clutter, it was still clutter.
Right. Yeah, it was clutter. And we did talk about this on the last one. Sometimes you might be holding on to very expensive clutter because you think that you won't have an opportunity to get something like that, or you're just kind of telling yourself a story of lack, or you don't have enough when you hold on to those things. Because if you recycle it, you let it go, think about it, you're abundant. You're like, I've got this. I can get another one if I want to. I am abundant. And when you put out that vibration, abundance has no choice but to come sticking to you like glue.
Yes. And it's interesting, Amanda. Thank you so much for sharing more about your family story and how they recycled things and threw things out and had a kind of minimalist attitude. My family was the total opposite of yours, complete and total opposite. My parents, both of them, love them. They're both people of excess. That my mom, literally, if we were going on a school trip, we went shopping all the time. Both of my parents, part of the way that they showed that they loved us was to gift us. And me and my siblings, my sister, my brother, were spoiled, frankly, and so I thought that that's just what happened, how everyone operated. And not to go too deeply into my parents, psychology, but that was part of their way of showing love, that they came from a different country, were able to, have educational opportunities. And so, if you come from a different country, your parents are farmers, now you're in America, one of the ways that you can show your family, your kids, that you love them is to buy them things. So, for me, like, I just had a mentality and still have, I'm working on it. We're all works in progress, but, of the idea of excess. So it's not just one thing you have, but it's, however many things you have. And if you're going somewhere new or doing something new, then you need a new dress and you need new makeup and you need to do, whatever. And so that by itself, was not the issue. The issue is if you keep bringing things in without putting things out, that is an issue. That's where it becomes hoarding. because then you're holding on. Nature is a cycle. We reap and we sow. Things ebb and they flow. It's just the way that nature works. And so if you are continually taking in without letting things go and giving things out, then you end up with clutter. It can be very beautiful clutter. It can be very glamorous clutter. It can be, I'm from a family of very educated people. So it could be, for a long time, it was like lots of books, like a million books, like, it could be very educational clutter, but it's still clutter. If things that you're looking at are not actively adding to your life in that very moment, then you need to donate it. You need to toss it. You need to get rid of it. If you have things that you think, I will fix that, I'm going to get around to fixing that, and it hasn't happened, then you need to get rid of it. If you have things that, oh, I'm going to take that to the cleaners and I'm going to take it in, or I'm going to add buttons to it or let it out or whatever, and it doesn't happen, give it to someone else whose life you can enrich. It is not enriching your life. It is blocking your blessings, and it is just taking up room. And as Amanda talked about, that is the definition of poverty consciousness, limited thinking, that it is the thought that if I have these things, I need to hold on to them. Otherwise, because I won't have the abundance to move forward. I have another personal story, Amanda, actually, about just the importance of cycling in our lives. And women, we know about cycles. Our lives, our bodies operate on a cyclical nature, and for me, whenever I'm feeling, a little bit financially blocked anywhere in my life or my business or anything like that, it's counterintuitive. You would think, okay, when you're feeling blocked, just hold on and hoard your money or whatever it is. I give. Whenever things feel to me like, they're financially constipated, or, the numbers are not the way that I want them to be, I give. I figure out, which, charity or whatever it is that I am supporting, and I make a donation. And it could be an organization, an alumni organization that I've been involved with. It could be a friend's Kickstarter or whatever campaign, whatever it is, that I find a way to tithe and to give and to support. And I promise you that I have had literally the experience of, making a huge donation somewhere, and then in the next minute, someone calls me and books me for a TV show, or, gives me, a great opportunity, or, books me to come and speak, or books a coaching program, or whatever it is. So giving, whether it's in the form of, making donations with your clothing and the things that you're hoarding, or financially giving, is a really, really important process, part of the abundance process. When we're talking about bringing in abundance, you might think, well, like I said, well, it's just about accruing and trying to figure out how to get, but it's also about giving. That's a huge part of it. And I promise you, I have witnessed it in my own life, almost like as like a direct whatever, like, okay, I give here, and then, give this way, and the phone call is coming from that way.
Yes, absolutely. Those of you on in my tribe, my community, that I did a money manifestation challenge earlier this year, and I had so many testimonials from people who, just like you, I can't even recall. I mean, one guy got paid like an extra $4,000 and he didn't even ask. He was a photographer. There was another girl whose husband found out that he had $7,000 sitting in an account he didn't even know about. Other people got new jobs. One girl got a new job off of Pinterest, like someone she met off of Pinterest. Just all this money coming in. All the money challenge was, guys, all it was giving. Literally, for 10 days, you took $1 bill, you put it in a random place across the globe, wherever you were at. You could put it in the grocery store somewhere and hide it with a little love note to the person who found it. And that's all it was, is giving. And the kind of science behind that, I like to call it, is that when, like you said, Abiola, when you're feeling kind of constipated and scared about money, you're not having enough, basically you have to reverse that vibration and turn yourself into someone who is abundant. And so what do abundant people do? They're able to give, they're able to, this motion, they're able to give, they're able to flow, they're able to move with money. And so you turn yourself into someone who is giving. And every time after you give, you just feel so abundant. And that vibration is what attracts the speaking engagements, the phone calls, the extra payments. It's what attracts the new contracts, just random money that you could find on the side of the street. One girl got like a payment back from her electric company because she had overpaid them like years ago or something, or a credit card company. Well, two different people, electric company and a credit card company. I myself got a random check from a car company from a car I owned years ago. It's just random things happen when you start to do that and you start to give the vibration of abundance. Can I tell them about the contest?
Yes, please do.
Okay, well, we have a contest for our workshop that is coming up on Wednesday. We are going to give away one free seat. And again, Abiola and I are about action because we love to talk and that's cute, but we are about action and really getting you there. So what we're going to ask every single person who is watching this is you are going to pick one item. Like Abiola said, it could be something that is broken and you keep promising you're going to fix it. It could be something you keep saying you're putting the buttons back on. You're going to pick one item in your life, just one. We're just going to start with one. Don't get overwhelmed. And you take it. And I had a feng shui consultant come to my house a few years ago. And what she said is sometimes you don't want to get rid of the memories. So all you have to do is take a picture of it. Take a picture of it. With your phone, keep it in, you can keep it in your storage, that's fine. But, clear the physical clutter. So what you're going to do is take a picture of this item that you're going to throw away, and you are going to post it on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter with the hashtag #ClearLifeClutter. And just write what you want to welcome in place of what you are giving back to the universe. Take a picture of it, throw it out, write a caption with it, and we're going to pick one glorious, beautiful winner to have one free seat on our course next Wednesday. And so we're going to announce the winner on Friday. So do it tonight and do it tomorrow. Just one item, or thrive. Pick a lot of items. Do whatever you want to do, but at least one item. That's all we're asking for.
That is awesome, Amanda. And you just touched on a couple of things that I want to come back to, but I want to read. We have some comments of some of the people, some of our wonderful goddesses who are tuned in to their clutter clearing and abundance. B. Johnson says she grew up in a family of people who grew up poor and have a hard time letting go of things because of how unlikely that they will be able to replace it. My family experience is very similar to yours. And there's a lot of shame around that. There's so much shame over this. I have a friend who is a very well-known New York City magazine writer. Very, very well known, makes great money. She doesn't have people over to her apartment because it is so clutter filled, and this is a part of her family, and she has a lot of shame around it. And so B, I compliment you and applaud you for sharing your story. Thank you. Kyla W says, I don't deserve what I truly want really resonated with me. I need to change my thinking about every aspect of my life. Thanks, Abiola and Amanda. Kyla, we're going to talk more about that in a minute. That is tremendous. The idea that we are not enough, not enoughness. And so we've got to hold on to things. I call it kind of disguising, having things that are your personality for you. So if you have like a Chanel bag that is, kind of shorthand for I'm this kind of person, like we were talking about earlier, or a Louis bag, and you're like, it's shorthand. When they see this, they know that I'm a person of worth. And there's nothing wrong with that. I love nice things. I love Chanel, love Louis Vuitton, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a reliance and a dependency on holding on to things rather than you having the strength and the power within yourself. Okay, we have another comment here, Amanda. This one is from Tiffany C. And Tiffany says, after you let go, especially of people, What is the process of getting over the failure and or emptiness and making space for abundance? Okay, that's definitely that's huge, Tiff, and
Yeah.
we're going to be addressing that in the course. Hopefully we can try to get to it. We have some more time tonight. Okay, and then
If not, I do want to say, please just email me and I would love to write you back. You can catch me, Tiffany, at spirituallydope@gmail.com. Just write me with your email address. I'd love to answer that if we don't get to it.
beautiful, beautiful. And Barhin Johnson, Barhin J, what a beautiful name, says currently watching a class on clearing clutter to make space for abundance. And she's just inviting people to join it with her. So thank you, Barhin, for sharing that. And Tiffany also notes that she learned you have to throw things away to create space. And if you want abundance, B. Johnson says, if the church can't say amen, just say ouch. She was quoting when I said we become great liars when we're lying to ourselves. And Kimberly W. says that she is so excited. Nacia Jackson says she's glad that she was able to make it home to catch this. So Amanda, do you want to go a little bit into Tiffany's, what she said? Because I feel like a lot of women will resonate with that.
Yeah, I do. And Tiffany, obviously, we don't know the entire story, but I do want to say if you feel the natural pull and instinct that it's something that you need to let go, then chances are it's something that's not really what you deserve. It's not what you deserve. So when you use the word failure, don't use the word failure, because if you are honoring yourself and letting go of something that doesn't honor you, then you are a success by all definitions of the words. You are a success, and you can walk through life knowing that you are honoring yourself. And what happens when you do that? People feel that. People start to honor you as well. So please let go of the thinking that you're failing at anything if you stand up for what you actually deserve.
Yes. Yes. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was just so that. Yes. That is it exactly. That is it exactly. You know, that you are inherently worthy. And, you know, it letting go is not easy. That nothing that we're talking about, just because we're talking about it within, you know, a 1-hour class right now, we're not saying that any of this is easy. Like, oh, you're going to go home and you're going to easily toss all your stuff and let go of your friends and do it. We are not saying that at all, that this is about growth. And this is about evolution. And evolution is not an easy thing. If it was, everybody would do it. That, you know, one of my spiritual teachers, Esther Hicks, says all the time that there is never a crowd on the leading edge. And there just isn't. And so the things that we are talking to you about are about you accessing the next layer and next level of your life. And it starts from coming from a place of I am enough. When you can look into the mirror and you can say those things, those are the things that, again, you know, blessings on Tori Spelling, blessings on Lindsay Lohan, women who millions of dollars have passed through their hands, but have challenges, you know, with hoarding and holding on to things, among other issues, as we all do, because they can't get to the place of I am enough. And the paradox of, you know, non-attachment, you know, getting into some advanced stuff here, but the paradox of non-attachment is that when you're able to free yourself of attachment to your things, more things come to you. And so it could be in the form of money, where literally money comes, you know, it's crazy. Like people will say to you, oh, that debt is canceled, you know, or whatever it is, or checks showing up that, you know, goodness knows from where, or, you know, oh, you inherited this and you weren't aware of it. All of those things. But it's about you constantly tuning yourself, raising your vibration to who you really are. And we forget on a daily basis. You know, there's that Drew Barrymore movie where, you know, I think it's named 50 First Dates, and every day she would wake up with amnesia and forget who she was. This is a little bit like that. that we wake up as spiritual beings in this earthly plane, and we could have it, to ourselves when we're in the morning, at night, when we're doing our spiritual practice or whatever it is. Then we go out into the world and someone says F you, or your boss says whatever or whatever, and we kind of forget who we really are. This is a process. Letting go of clutter in all aspects of your life is a process of you remembering that you are already inherently wealthy and inherently perfect and fully deserving of a zillion Chanel bags and fab apartments and all of those things, but needing to come at it from a place of non-attachment, that is not your worth. Got
Yeah.
it?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Because once again, attachment is always coming from a place of lack. Attachment is always saying, I need this to feel X. I need this relationship to feel worthy. I need this dress to make me feel beautiful. I need this to make me feel wealthy. And when you do that, you are emitting a vibration of lack, that you are not already inherently worthy. So when you hold on to these things, you're holding on to the promise of always feeling unworthy, undeserving, unloved, unbeautiful, any that you can think of. So clear life clutter. Once again, I do want to remind you that the hashtag is clear life clutter. If you guys have things right now, go ahead and share them with us while we're live. Write us and let us know what you think you're actually going to give away. We'd love to see it in the comments. That would be great.
Yes, yes. And actually, Amanda, I just wanted to touch on something you brought up earlier. You talked about sentimental clutter. This is a big one. And again, it's a challenge that I had, a challenge that I inherited. But inheriting an issue is no reason to keep it going for yourself and into the next generation. That I come from a huge family. Both of my parents have 7 to 10 siblings. I have a lot of aunts and uncles whom I love dearly. And a few years ago, people started aging and I started to lose some of my family members. And one of my aunts who passed away, Aunt Sylvie, was legendary in my life and in my family. And she died, it's like 10 years ago now. And when she passed away, I went to her house and, with my cousins, and we took things that meant something to her or meant something to us. And she was a fabulous dresser with great jewelry and all kinds of stuff. So I had like tons of her costume jewelry and her real jewelry and her clothing and all kinds of things. And even to, at her funeral, the cross that was on her coffin and the photo, my cousin gave me those things. And so I had those things. And then when visiting her in the hospital, she would write me little notes because she couldn't speak of what she was trying to say. So I would keep all of those notes. And then her, the little medical things that she had on when she was in the hospital, I felt guilty to get rid of those things because I felt like, okay, these are the things that are a part of my aunt. And two things really hit home for me in being able to release the clutter parts of that. Number one, that those things are not my aunt, that my aunt lives in my heart. She lives in my spirit. She's one of my angels. I communicate with her all the time. That she is not the things, the physical things, the notes that she wrote me from the hospital. She is not those things. She's not even the fancy, exciting jewelry, which I think actually this is one of her pieces. She is not those things. Those things aren't her. That there's no physical thing. Even if I gave away every single piece of it, which I haven't, but if I did, I would not lose her. I cannot lose her. We are spiritually bonded and connected forever. The second thing was in terms of things that are not bringing you joy, that there are some things like the jewelry that make me happy and excited, but there were things like the hospital, bracelets and the notes and things like that made me quite sad because they represented, or the funeral things, like those things made me very sad because it represented the feeling of losing her, which I haven't, but the idea of losing her on this earthly plane and her being sick, her illness, those kinds of things. And so I had a lie that I had set up in my head that I would be betraying my aunt and be betraying her memory if I didn't hold on to every single piece of everything that I ever got from her and everything like that. And when I was able to let go of that, I was able to let go of the things that really are clutter, like, little like hospital bracelets or whatever. And I was able to, with some of the other things, to say to other family members, here, this is Aunt Sylvie's, you may enjoy this. Or friends, here, this was my aunt's, you may enjoy this. Or be able to just generously donate it and give it with the spirit of who she was. Or the other option, which was very freeing for me, which Amanda said, is taking a picture of something and keeping the photo. Oh my gosh, when I learned that, like, it felt like my world opened up. Like, wait, I could just take a picture of it. Like, I don't need like an extra closet full of just things.
Yes.
Holding on to, which was like, I had my prom dress, I had my this, that, and the other, the first dress that I wore on a date. I had like literally every single thing. But the idea, you could take a picture of it, have the picture, have your memory, lose the clutter, and move on. Freed my life.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you for that story. Can I share a little tiny, teeny bit about emotional clutter?
Yes, please do.
And I'm just going to talk a teeny bit because we have a whole segment in our course. I keep calling it a course. It's a workshop. Our workshop, one-day workshop next week. Whole segment on it. So I'm just going to touch on it briefly. But what I do want to say is, if you are holding on to past experiences, and I know that this resonates with every single person, myself, Abiola included, no one is really exempt from this. Just to give you an example, if you had a past experience, let's say, of something that really hurt, let's say someone you had a friendship with, a relationship with, and you're holding on to a past hurt because you feel like they did you wrong or they did something to me, you are holding on to a vibration of victimhood. Can I say that again? If you think that someone did you wrong, you are holding on to a vibration of victimhood. And the vibration of victimhood is so cancerous, because the vibration of victimhood says, I can't do things. I am a victim. I am not the creator of my own life. Life is happening to me. I'm not creating my own life. So when you're holding on to that, number one, you are creating energetic space for other people to continue to do you wrong in every single part of your life. And it becomes a vibrational pattern. And number two, you rest in sitting thinking that you're not creating your own life. So you don't create your own life. Life just kind of passes you by, and you don't make forward movements because you're stuck in being someone who life happens to. So if you have a past hurt, a past situation that still resonates with you, when you think about it, you get very emotional. It is time to clear that. And Abiola and I are going to tell you how to clear it. Both of us are really passionate about EFT, which works like a charm. If you don't know what it is, it's called Emotional Freedom Technique. And I don't know if you want to get into a little tiny bit of this or you want to save it for next week.
I think save it, because it's the kind of thing that I don't want to start them off.
Yeah.
Leave it halfway, because it's such a, with the EFT literally saved my life. And between EFT and also doing energetic decording, decording meditation, I think is going to be a big part of this. But as you said, that emotional clutter, holding on to grudges, and we're all works in progress, but this is something that I literally had to work on, where I thought, well, I don't, I'm a very happy person. I've always been a happy person since I'm a kid. It's just who I am. But being a happy person didn't mean that I was not holding on to grudges. I can hold a grudge with the best of them. I can tell you in 5th grade who did whatever wrong to me and what they did and how they did it. All of that doesn't hurt the other person. It hurts yourself. It blocks you, and it's toxic. It is literally poisonous. I call it, in the Sacred Bombshell Handbook, I call it seeing life through victim-colored glasses. Where literally, if you have those lenses on your eyes where you see yourself as the victim of your life, oh, woe is me, this person did this to me, that person did this to me, that you are again saying, I am enough, I'm not enough, I am not worthy of having all of the power that I really do have. And I'm seeing myself as a victim of life rather than life seeing myself as, the star of my own life. It's a perspective shift that has to happen.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of the time, just being honest, just because I think everybody is inherently good and inherently powerful, I think that a lot of times we hold on to these things to honestly, subconsciously hold ourselves back because we know how powerful we are. And sometimes we're scared. And I know you talk about this so much. We are so scared to step into our own power that we hold on to things from the past because we know how powerful and magnetic and amazing that we truly can be. And so it's just fear, everybody. So, you know, you're not a bad person. You're just holding on to a little fear, and you might be scared to step into your true power. So just look at it that way.
That's it exactly, Amanda, that, you know, there's that saying, the devil you know is better than the devil that you don't know. Well, no devil serves you. I don't care if it's the devil you grew up with. There's no devil that can serve you in your joy and in your greatness. And so although it may feel secure to hold on to all of your issues and your challenges and wrap them around you like a security blanket, letting go of them and resetting your default setting from one of fear to one of self-worth, and I am worthy, you know, even if today you give away every single thing, that you are still worthy, is the most powerful place that you can come from. The most powerful place. I would love to, Amanda, touch on another. People are posting their the things that they're getting rid of.
Yay!
Read those in a second, but I just want to briefly, in the time that we have left, touch on another type of clutter. And this is kind of controversial, that when I've spoken with women's groups about this, I get a little bit of pushback and backlash, which is okay, because, you know, I am not here to support you.
Sugarcoat. Yep.
It's not what I'm here for. So another kind of clutter is, frankly, fat, skin, excess weight. This is, again, a challenge that, you know, because how we do everything is how we do anything is how we do everything. So, you know, I've not only had challenges with physical clutter, but also emotional clutter, and also holding on to excess weight. That, you know, again, it's a security issue. And so I noticed when, you know, right now I have a family member in the hospital, I notice myself doing things that will accrue more fat and more weight on my body. Everybody is different. I'm not your doctor, you know, I'm just sharing with you what my experience has been, and that of, you know, the women that I've been honored to coach. But, you know, I have skipped my workouts because I say, well, I've got to spend X amount of time at the hospital, so I don't have time. So, you know, whatever it is, you know, and so there are, you know, but if I'm real with myself, although yes, those things are true, I know that I am ever possible. I'm a possibilitarian. I can make anything happen. And if I have a will, then there is a way that I could figure out, if there was a way, if that was important to me, to make it happen. And so keeping fat on your body in a way that is unhealthy for you, and you're the only person that can say that, is a form of clutter. So I'm going to let that marinate. You go ahead, Amanda. Tell them again about the contest and the class, and I'm going to pull up some comments and share with you what our people are saying and thinking here.
Sure, certainly. Just one more time, if you're just joining us, we have a workshop coming up next week, and you can win a free seat to it by taking a picture of one thing that you are going to discard tonight or tomorrow with the hashtag #ClearLifeClutter, and then tell us what you want to welcome in. And extra bonus points if you tell us why you're letting this go, like what it represents to you. But, you know, sometimes you might not want to put that online. That's okay. So just tell us what you want to welcome in instead of that clutter, that physical mass that's just in your space. And we will announce the winner on Friday. That's it.
So, Amanda, the people who are sharing now, I'm going to read some of their comments. Are they entered in the contest, or no, they have to share again? Which way do you want to do it?
Are they showing pictures?
No pictures yet. No hashtag yet.
We need a picture. I want to hear about it, but show me so I know it's real. Yep, we want receipt.
Okay, so Felicia C says, I just recently purchased my first home. I do not want to take any bad energy to my residence, so I will get rid of any reminders of past hurts. I promise to get rid of the baggage that is attempting to hold me back, letting go of old clothes as I am now trying to improve my lifestyle by being healthy. Yes, Felicia.
Yes. Beautiful. Very proud of you.
Very proud of you. And Jay Jean says excess weight equals clutter is mind-blowing. We have a man who wants us to know that he's not the only guy here. Okay, so men, his name is A Keys. He says hello to everybody. Hey. All right, and then B Johnson says, oh, this is yeah, I'm working on this, B. The things that I'm considering getting rid of are my papers from undergrad and graduate school. I'm realizing that I hold on to them because I feel like they're a reminder of the only thing I associate with success or accomplishment. Wow. I feel like all I've accomplished in life, okay, is school, and throwing out my papers means that I don't value that accomplishment. Wow, that's a big one, B. That's a big one. I am sending you love and hugs for having the courage to share that with us. And I don't believe that that's the only thing you've accomplished, because look, you just accomplished something by having the courage that 9/10 of the people wouldn't have by even just sharing your story. And I see your beautiful face. And so I already know that that's not true, but I applaud you for sharing it.
And if I can just cut in, I actually, it's so interesting. I just gave away so much stuff. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I gave away like 70% of my stuff, my belongings, just this weekend. I was trying to walk my talk. And the only thing, and it may just be because I didn't have, honestly, time, but I was holding on to my old workbooks and what do you call them? Schedulers?
Yes, planners.
I was holding on to my planners because during that time I was so focused and so on top of my game. And when you hold on to things, I'll just use myself as an example. Basically, when you hold on to things from the past, you're kind of telling yourself that you'll never have that experience again. So I was just holding on to the remembrance of a time where I was so focused, so driven, so this. And it's like, if I'm holding on to that, I'm subconsciously saying, that was it. The past was it. The past was the glory days. And that just sets you up to not have glory days in the future. So come on, B. Johnson, let's do it together. Sister.
Let's do it together.
Or I don't know if it's a man or woman, but just
she's a woman.
She's a woman. B. Johnson, let's do that together. You and me both.
Yes. Let's give B a round of applause. We know she can do it. Okay, so Richard M says, thank you so much. I'm loving this webinar. He says he has to go. His babies are about to wake up, but he's going to come back and finish watching. Hey, Richard and your babies. J. Joe, she says, OMG, I realized that I had this victim complex. So I've been using the affirmation. She's been affirming, I'm not a victim. I'm always a victor, and I always win. So that's what J. Joe has been working on. I think that would be a great tapping video, Amanda. I think I might do a tapping video around that, or maybe just I'll do it in the course. That's a big one. And course workshop. And then Maureen says, listening from the West Coast, got a chance to join. You ladies are both great. She says that she has this in practice, and this is a great way to reiterate it. And Maureen, just so that you guys know, Maureen is amazing. She is a music video director, goddess, filmmaker, who has worked with everyone from Wyclef to you name it. So Maureen, yes, you know all about abundance. Kyla says, she's clearing out her closet, Amanda. She's getting rid of clothes, shoes that she hasn't worn in a while, and she has the hashtag clear life clutter.
Yay! I actually just got a funny text from someone that said, I've got a few bills I'm trying to get rid of. Hashtag clear the clutter. Would love to replace them with some checks.
Oh, this is a good one to address. That Jackie K says, although it's 2015, I'm still in the crisis mode of 2008 and stuck in the mode of lack, worry, and not enough money, despite the fact that the universe always provides and everything always works out. That's a big one because, you know, a lot of us may go through a crisis and then we get scared and we think, okay, I don't want to go through another crisis. And so then we do what we know best, which in a lot of cases is just hoarding and just holding on to things.
Yep. So I challenge you to, for the next 10 days, at least put $1 somewhere in a hidden spot in a public place. Like if you're in the gym, stick it in a locker. I challenge you to do that for the next 10 days and let me know how it works out. That was my money manifestation challenge where everybody started to bring in the cash. So go ahead and do it.
Go ahead and do it. And then Amanda, Tiffany C wants to know about the contest. She says, will hashtag clear my clutter, can she do it on Facebook? Is it Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or
It's
all of the above?
everything. It's clear life clutter. Clear, everybody, clear life clutter. Clear life clutter. And tag us. Just go ahead and tag us so we'll get it no matter what.
I'm at Abiola TV, where the TV stands for Transformation and Victory. And Amanda's at Spiritually Dope. Okay. And then, so we have two. Okay, so B says that as an overweight woman who comes from a family of overweight women, Abiola, you're right all the way. It's one of those church, if you can't say amen, say ouch moments. I know I'm fat because of how I felt about myself, being a victim of neglect, abuse, and so much more. But you are so right. My weight is literally baggage filled with the negativity I've yet to let go of. You're right about weight. And she says, sorry to be monopolizing the comment section. You're not monopolizing anything at all. This is your space and we applaud you for posting. And I just want to just add on to that when I say that, you know, that fat is clutter, you know, like literally like right now I got this going on because like my dad was sick earlier this year and there are certain things, comfort food is a thing, that it's not a means to. None of this that we're talking about is about you beating yourself up or again seeing yourself as less than. That you would be beautiful, magnificent, and powerful at 200 pounds or 120 pounds or whatever in between is healthy and whole for you. It's about you being the best you that you can be and manifesting the abundance that is your birthright, period. So it's not about you beating yourself up because you are not magnificent already. You're already splendid. It's about you becoming even more of who you really are. Do you want to say something about that, Amanda? I'm going to, and then I'll read some more comments and we'll wrap.
No, that was amazing. I loved it. Thank you for saying that.
You are welcome. And then, so we have a couple of other comments. I'm just going to read maybe one or two more, Amanda, and then we will wrap up. Okay, so, Lee, I don't want to mess up your name. With a name like Abiola, I have to get people's names right. This is a beautiful one. Leanjua. Beautiful. Leanjua S says, I strive to clear negative energies, people, and situations from my life. I feel like there is a universal shift taking place, and I have been unctioned to move from allowing my energy to be depleted by allowing those around me to affect my life. Hashtag clear life clutter.
That was beautiful.
Hashtag yes. Hashtag you're preaching. Hashtag we're right there with you.
Yes.
And then I'll read one more, Amanda, and then I would love for you to give them just details again of the course, and then we'll wrap up. This hour goes so fast. Okay, this is from A Keys. I practice Zen Buddhism, so honestly, non-attachment is pretty much a regular part of my life. Letting go of physical things does not bother me, but what about the things which we do not have control over? Attachment to an old love, for example. We talked about this a little bit earlier. A person whom we may have loved may no longer be in our lives, and the relationship may have ended, but how does one let go of something you are not choosing to hold on to, especially when you live by a philosophy of non-attachment? And A Keys also says that your 10-day a dollar a day challenge was fun. A Keys, I would urge you to look for a decording meditation. There is one on my meditation album, the Sacred Bombshell Self-Love Meditations, which you can find on Amazon or CD Baby. Or if you just go to YouTube and just type in decording meditation, and find one from someone that resonates with you. We're going to be doing this in the course, but that is really, really helpful about energetically breaking the bonds that you still have with people and situations in your life. Okay.
I just want to cut in and say also something that helps me if I ever feel like I'm attached to an old person. Think of what, and I'll say it so quick because I know we have to go, but basically think of what that person has that you want. Like sometimes it's that person has something that you feel like you don't have. Like maybe they gave you so much love because you're not giving love to yourself, or they gave you so much attention because you're not giving attention to yourself. So whatever they represented to you, or let's say you don't feel successful right now and maybe they were very successful, start to set yourself up for success, because a lot of times you're holding on to them because of a emotional reason, emotional something that you're not giving to yourself, and so you're attached to that thing and not necessarily them. So if you feel that they gave you so much love and you miss it, start to give yourself love. Take yourself out on dates. I used to do that. Me and Amanda used to have pizza and champagne dates every Saturday. So just start to give yourself whatever you feel that you're lacking.
I think that's so important, so huge. I did the self dating thing as well, and it does energetically shift. If you are feeling like, well, why am I not getting more love or whatever it is, giving yourself that love, and also gratitude, acknowledging, you know, the love that you already have around you is a great way to kind of shift things energetically. Acknowledging what you already have will help you to attach to the joy that you have rather than the things that you are lamenting, whether you're aware of it or not. Okay, wait, one more thing I'm going to read. Felicia posted a comment. Oh, I see my girl Tia. She says, yes, I made it here. Hi, Tia. Okay, so Felicia says, I'm prepared to enter in the next phase of life. I've been interviewing for different positions in other departments at my place of employment. In addition to a new job, I need a financial increase as well. Yes, claim it. Hashtag clean life clutter. All right. Yes.
Okay. All right. So everybody, we would absolutely love if you would join us next week on Wednesday. What we are going to do is email the link out to you if you have registered for this course. And some of you who just got the Google Share link, if somebody reposted it and you're watching it from there, please go to Instagram.com/spiritually dope or /Abiola TV. We both have the links there. Register and we will send you the link for our course to sign up. So we will send that to you ASAP.
Yay! All right, so this has been magnificent. Wait, I'm typing a link here for them. This has been a magnificent conversation with enlightened beings, and I can feel all of your energy just like I feel Amanda's energy, and this is powerful and will only become more so. And so I will hold a vision of each and every one of you, each and every one of us, remembering on a daily basis who we really are, seeing through this illusion and attracting all of the abundance that is our birthright. And so I'm going to say goodbye to you from Sacred Bombshell Land, and Amanda's over there in Spiritually Dope Land. And we will see you in the course and in our many, many more collaborations between the world of Sacred Bombshell and Spiritually Dope.
Yay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.